can I get a motion to open up the Board of Health meeting at 6:30 PM?
I motion to open the Board of Health meeting at 6:30 PM on May 4th.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. I'd like to skip over the disposal work permits and go right to the people that are here so they don't have to stay here all night. Does
would
the board
agree.
have a problem with that?
No.
Nope.
Okay.
I'm not on board, so.
All right, so who's first?
We're actually a disposal works permit.
Ah, wow.
I think we're first on the agenda.
Are you Carver Street?
We are Carver Street.
That's the one we just talked about that we were failing out, right?
That was,
We were gonna say no to?
well,
You weren't talking.
yeah, we'll talk differently on that.
All right, so what you got?
All right, for the record, Eric Dias, registered professional engineer with Strong Point Engineering Solutions. This is the plan for 49 Carver Street. Industrial bays here, pole barn here, pole barn not hooked up to sanitary, so no bathrooms in there, just this building's hooked up to sanitary. There's, very straightforward, we're in a very sandy area, very good soils, low depth of groundwater, we've got plenty of separation of groundwater. Traditional, I think we went with a pipe and stone system here, just a trench system with a reserve area shown up here, off the driveway, so it doesn't have to be H20 loaded or anything like that. The only thing that we're asking for is, there are a couple of bays in this building. Your bylaw has a requirement that each individual bay needs its own septic tank. We've asked for one septic tank for the building, just by the virtue of, we don't know who's gonna be renting those bays yet. It's very possible that one tenant could rent 3, 4, or even the whole building.
Right.
So it doesn't make a lot of sense to us to have multiple tanks in that case. The system has been sized for 30 people. Our parking is sized for 8 people. So I think we've over-designed the system just to make sure for any future growth and things like that, we're covered. Obviously, the tank is gonna accommodate that. So that's.
What are you putting in for a tank? A 3 or?
Let me refer to the second sheet and refresh my memory, because it's been a little while. So it actually only needs to be a 1,500 gallon tank.
Oh, really?
Yeah, 1,500 gallon tank. Reason, with the warehouse use, it's reasonably low flow. I think it's like 15 gallons per employee per day,
Okay.
so it's not a ton. It basically, this equates to about a 4-bedroom house.
I mean, I don't see an issue with it. I mean, I kind of question the bylaw itself. Seems a little ridiculous.
So, if we, back up into the bylaw, it actually says, allow a single septic tank for a multi-unit or commercial building. So, the PC brings in, totally right. Commercial building, who needs the extra tank? Let's bring Twin Lakes into place. They should have had 5 tanks for every unit. So to answer your question, it was put into effect basically for condos. However, the only intangible to this is, well, we're not the future police. Right now, that's exactly used as intended, or would be used as intended. What happens in the future? I have no clue. So do we just stick by the bylaw, or do we put in a
I would put in a stipulation saying that can stay as long as that footprint stays the way it is at the time of design.
Yep.
That's how I would.
That's how, and that's sort of how I was interpreting our regulation, because, we may have a 40B going in up the road there. There's things down the road that, and things previous that can potentially cause a problem, and why the supplemental reg was in fact put in place for us. So, I guess that's where I'm asking for you guys to, look at it. Yes, according to this design, with that footprint, that plan works.
And I don't think, these folks, this is Joe Pajerski, he's the owner of the project. His son actually lives right here. They're not looking to go anywhere, so they're gonna be here for a very long time. We're not gonna be building out this footprint or changing it, so I don't think we would take issue with such a stipulation.
Where exactly, is that over by the old A1, by John Devine's? I don't know if you know John Devine's, by all the mulch and
No,
everything?
it's across from Ralph Smith,
Right
right?
across the street from Ralph Smith's, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
all
you're
right.
right.
Behind the police station.
Actually, just walk from here to there.
The police station, we built a nice berm right behind the police station,
Yeah,
so
the site work there's been really good.
we've spent
I have to
2
tell you.
years on it.
You think? Oh, well, you know.
It's been all my sweat.
So,
I personally, I mean, I'm only 1/3 of the board, but I personally, as long as the footprint doesn't change, I don't see an issue with it.
So we just note that
I
in
would,
the files and.
the engineer would be happy to write a letter that says, this just stays as the footprint, because, I don't know, 5, 10 years from now,
Right.
at least there's a note in file, scanned into record, that says, okay, now all of a sudden, we wanna build, Holiday Inn. Because there's a big hunk of land, that's not gonna change.
Well, and presumably, if any further development was to happen here, right, it would change flows, it would probably require an upgrade, so you folks would likely get another crack at the apple anyway. But I think having that as a fail-safe makes some sense, and I've got no problem writing a letter to that effect and getting it.
No, it's just,
Just to cover everyone's rear end.
well, and it helps us stay with our supplemental rules and regulations, which can't always be perfect, but they're designed to try to prevent whatever's gonna happen in the future. Back when Twin Lakes occurred, they thought one tank was fine. Well, they didn't realize 5 different units use 5 different amounts of water, and before you know it, we have systems just blowing out of the ground, so.
Literally.
Prevention, as I said, is always our best medicine, so I think that, that it's an approvable plan with that stipulation.
So that's, just so I'm clear, because I would have to write a letter, that stipulation is if the footprint of this building ever changes, we would need to revisit this, basically.
As for usage, if it's gonna stay bays and things like
It's gonna stay
this,
commercial
that's
based,
all good. If some other, company who has a bay comes in, fine, but
and this wouldn't limit them from saying renting out one of the bays to somebody else or anything like
rent to
that.
whomever, just don't, like.
Yeah, if all of a sudden, you guys add an
quarters
extra 3 or 4 bays on
Then we
there.
gotta come back and talk about it.
Exactly, as long as that stays the square footage that is at this time, when the system goes in, then,
Yeah.
And pretty much not made residential.
Right.
Right.
Stays commercial, we're in the same footprint, blueprint, everything.
Okay.
If all of a sudden, that big bay became 4 condo units,
It'd be a different.
Let's have a
flow
different
and all that stuff.
conversation.
Absolutely, that makes sense. So as long as you're comfortable with that, as long as the use stays the same and the footprint doesn't grow, you can rent them out to whoever you want to. But if we increase the footprint or we change the use family, we have to come back to talk about it.
yes.
Okay.
can I get a motion to allow the variance, to allow the variance to not have to add 1 tank for each unit? Is that right?
Yeah, I think so.
Multi-
I motion to allow the variance, to not add 1 tank per unit.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much for
Thank you all for
coming
your
in.
time. Appreciate it.
Eric, good
Thank you.
job.
Best of luck with everything, sir.
Thank you very much. Take care.
Nice to meet you, Joe.
You guys here for anything, or you just spec you?
It must be yes.
Yeah.
Well, we thought Joe was gonna be there, so I guess,
Joe Webby,
The approval for
Yeah.
wheel septic, 30
32.
and 32 wheel side with 30.
so we can skip down to that one.
Pearson McDougal.
But you're waiting, are you waiting for someone to be here with you, or?
No,
Oh, okay.
That'd
we
be-
just got a letter in the mail saying that.
Right.
Oh,
So
right, okay, yeah,
Alright,
I did
well,
have someone else
proposal.
reach out to me.
we had a butter notifications
Okay.
and we do have
Did we get a letter?
Yes.
Yeah.
Are you up on the hill?
Yes.
What's your last name?
Pierce.
Oh, Ashley's parents.
Yes.
Everybody knows
Yeah,
Ashley.
It's
How come
something,
you're not?
it's something about a difference between 9 feet and 10 feet to number 32.
Yeah.
Right, and
We don't have
The-
much choice, I don't think.
No, when I was out there looking at that day, to see why you guys are acting, I work for Heritage.
Yeah.
You called because you're having
Oh,
issues.
Steve.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Because it's not like we can.
Yes.
It's not like we
Yeah,
can-
there was no room for anything.
No.
so you'll have to recuse yourself.
I will.
Okay.
I will.
However, to agree with both people, the neighbors are totally amicable on doing this. The properties are so tight together.
Yeah,
And fortunately, they're allowing the engineers and the, installers to move through each property and get two systems done at once. Or basically at once without destroying one while building the other and, I can't find any other feasible way. But the reason why the variance needs to be requested is because of the setback distances. Oftentimes, neighbors aren't as friendly and they say, well, if I can jam up him because I don't like his chickens in my yard, things go wrong. In this case, all the abutter list notifications have been sent out. The one abutter who did apply was like, please, get this through the neighbor, right? And it's a win-win situation. We end up with two septics done in a very tight area, and it's sort of just a technicality because of, we have to do local upgrade approvals. It says if you're not this far from this, ask for it and it shall be granted, or may be granted. Or ask for this and it could be or shall not be granted. In this case, the systems are already in these parameters, so it's not like we're granting anything different. We're just granting the same thing because
Except
it
the
need
new
be done.
system has to be larger, is that right?
A little bit larger just to accommodate the design flow of.
Because I think we have a 1,000-gallon tank now and it has to be bigger.
Yeah, it should be a 1,500. And if it is 1,000, the age of that tank, I don't know, it's like almost doing, changing one tire instead of two.
Yeah, you won't have that leaching pit anymore. It's actually
Right.
a field, kind of looks like an in-ground swimming pool when they're doing it.
Right. So, the field will work out for you. It's safer for the environment, especially the groundwater, because, that's what we're looking to protect. And fortunately, it doesn't look like you're gonna need any alternative technologies, which is what runs your money. And
That's good.
and it will all run off gravity. And there's one thing I found about gravity, because I've been bumped on the head enough, is that it works all the time.
Everything goes down.
Yep, so, I see the plan as, exactly what you wanna do, how you wanna do it. If it falls into your ballpark, and if you have any questions, concerns, I'm here.
At what point do we find out what the expense is? I don't know if I have to get financing or not. I've kind of
Okay.
started that, but it's on hold.
So, when it comes to cost, you've gone totally out of my wheelhouse. I just try to stay in my lane, and even though I work with multiple engineers, Title V inspectors, installers, I've never asked a price, don't want to know a price, and can't recommend anybody. So what I tell everybody is, We have a full list on our website of everybody who does everything, and to call at least 3 of them, and then determine which person you feel the most comfortable with at whatever price range you feel the most comfortable with. Some like buying low, some like buying high, I don't know. And the price of materials, just so you know, has been a substantial increase for anybody who installs. A piece of PVC that used to be this long used to cost, 20 cents, $2. Now they're like up to $4 or $3 a foot. And the sand, just sand, we're talking sand, $19 a yard plus. So, yeah, cost,
Now, were you trying to figure out when that portion will be addressed?
I mean,
Or
we just
you-
wanna know what do we do next, because I know there's a section of fence I'm gonna have to remove,
Yeah, So,
and I don't know what to do next.
so basically, once the plan is approved, you, as Bob said, on the website, find installers, or maybe you know some or what have you, and you hand them the plan, and they bid it out. So basically, the installer works for the engineer, basically, as far as, he can only do what the engineer says. So if the engineer says he's gonna use, do 5 40-foot sections of pipe with, X amount of stone or whatever, it's all written right there. So then you just hand it to the installers and they figure it out, all right, well, this stone's gonna cost this, it's gonna cost, and they'll give you bids based on that plan. That's what they're gonna bid it off. Everybody should be pretty much in the
yeah, they're
same,
pretty close.
I mean, everyone's buying the same stuff from the same person, so.
Because Adrian, she's in real estate, she thinks highly of Nava. I'm like, whatever you say, whatever you think.
Yeah, like Bob was saying, and I'm this way with everything in life, just get 3, and Nava's fine, Al Wood is, who owns it now, great guy. I'm just a firm believer in getting 3, as Bob said, getting 3 quotes for everything in life.
Yeah, the good part is, if you pick locally, pretty much, within the 5 to 6 town area of us, I've worked with them all, and they know what our expectations are. And my job, once the installation starts, is to ensure it's installed the way it was on the plan, so that you guys aren't getting ripped off on it,
That's good to know.
basically. That's why I go in for preliminary inspections, sometimes during, perhaps after, or, for the final. And at least, to the best of my ability, I know that we've dotted our i's, crossed our t's. This is designed as planned, so no matter who you pick, they know I'm gonna be there. So, and you guys actually pay my check. I mean, I work for the town, but you're residents, you pay taxes, that means I work for you. So whoever you hire, but they're gonna answer to me.
No, that's good to know.
Good to know, yeah.
You definitely don't want to have just one company coming in without anybody watching them, with anything.
But the engineers do, as well as Bob watching, the engineers, I shouldn't say, are pretty good at keeping an eye on things as well. Because what a lot of people don't realize is when a septic system goes bad, everyone goes after the installer. It's not always the installer's fault. The installer is putting in with the engineer. So it could be the homeowner, it could be the engineer, it could be the installer. So everybody's kind of got their eyes on it, watching to make sure that everything's done right, and then you got Bob at the end.
Before, during, and after, yeah.
So,
I don't get my hands dirty all the time, although I have, but make sure that, that it meets the standards that are necessary. And, if there's any changes on the fly by the installer, they know that they need to notify the Board of Health. before they say, hey, listen, you know, if I turn the tank this way, I avoid having a 90-degree angle, and it will flow better into the system. Well, the engineer might not have quite seen that, or didn't realize once you ripped out the tank, wow, now I'm coming straight out of the house, I'm doing this. I'll say, go for it. You know, this makes more sense than doing this and putting a big curve in that can only get blocked.
So, is this the place to ask about, we have a 12-foot above ground pool?
Yeah,
And,
that's gonna be interesting.
and so far, he said, don't worry about it, you don't have to move it. Because that's gonna be a huge delay and expense, and when
He would know, because he's the one who's done all the designing and measurements.
Well, he said.
because when we before we put the pool in, I remember dealing with the town measurements from my leaching field to this, to the fence, to whatever.
Right.
And they said, okay, you can do it. I said, okay, so we built it.
So in this particular instance, because the pool was there,
Yeah.
to the best of my knowledge, with the plan that I have, he's absolutely right. Barring anything that could go wrong in the soil, which shouldn't because of where you're located. So, again, to the best of my knowledge, he's absolutely correct. And that's why we actually didn't dig a test pit underneath your pool
Thank you.
for the reserve area.
Thank you.
Which allowed me to use the property line for both test pit observations
Good,
and
good.
not pop down your pool. So that was already in consideration from the engineer and from the people I parked with before we even got to this point.
So the perk test was good?
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
you're fine there. I mean, it's just, you know, a
Whatever.
matter of hitting your setbacks, which is normal. I mean, it's gonna be,
All right, what can we do?
look at the whole area that
can't
you
move
have
it.
there. I mean, everybody
We can't
has
move
a
the houses.
setback. No, you can't, you don't have enough room to hit the allowable spaces. A lot of the setback requirements were always first initiated based on new construction. Hey, give somebody an acre of property and make sure they say this far off there and that far off there. Oh, well, we're in Brockton, we have town sewer. It doesn't matter if there's a house on a house on a house on a house. Well, we're not gonna have town sewer, guys. So, this is a definite improvement plan. Cost, I'm sorry, I'm of no help to you, but we'll work it out, get the project going, do it in conjunction with your neighbor, and you guys will have a win-win situation. And should have a pool, I can't tell you the weather either. So,
As long as it's moving forward, I've just been
Right.
pushing this thing.
we're moving forward, I've spoken to you, I get it, and it looks like all the ducks are in a row. Now, you know, put the rest of the cogs in place, which is usually get who you want, pay who you want, and go from there.
Okay, so we just tell them who the engineer is that how it works? Well,
Yep.
I think Nava already knows it's Webby. 'Cause
Oh,
they were in contact with Webby.
I think Adrian's in agreement, we wanna go with Nava.
Yeah.
So now we call Nava and say, let's go?
So, again, I can't recommend the person. However, if your neighbor is gonna go with Nava,
Only makes sense.
well, just thinking out of the box here, that
We might save some
if you
money.
got the same crew doing properties that you can barely move on side by side, as opposed to two different companies trying to work together side by side, I'll let you determine what the answer would be on that.
She said good things about him, so. We'll just talk to her.
Yeah. Well, I had suggested Webby, but she also agreed, so we all decided on Nava.
I'm a bug guy. I mean, this is out of my
Well,
wheelhouse.
I'm a carrier, so I've seen
Right, it's
people
not our
raise whips
specialty.
in Nava, so it's not,
Uh,
you know, and Nava's, I grew up in
We
Kingston.
don't have any, I can tell you this, we don't have any bad installers in the area.
No.
None that I've worked with just about every installer on the South Shore. And there's not a single one out there that I would go, you know, so whomever you choose, whether it be, Al at Nava or, Joe's Septic Service in Hanover, yeah, it'll be fine.
Yeah, it's true. And the only thing that's tough now for these poor installers is the price of diesel. If they have
And
to
probably
drive
getting
back
supplies,
and
I
forth.
mean, are they having any issues getting supplies?
They're not having issues, they're having issues paying for supplies.
Paying for the supplies, which led into,
But I mean,
they
these are
don't
going up
need money
$2
up
a
front
gallon.
so they can start
Yeah,
a
it's
job.
awful. It's like yeah.
$6.50 a gallon right now.
Yeah. Oh, it's crazy. I mean, like I said, $20 for sand? Hello?
Right.
But,
So we can't go down the beach and get some?
This has nothing to do with your system, so let them do that first, then I'll ask you just another question. Please, and
All right,
thank you.
so we wanna move forward, so this is 30 Hillside, right?
mhm.
Move forward with Ratify and vote on the upgrades?
I agree.
Okay,
Allow for the setback
And you're
from 5.
I'm recusing.
okay. So can someone motion to, Candace, can you motion to ratify the agent's approval and vote on the local upgrades and variances which allow proposed septic tank to be 5 feet from the cellar wall instead of 10 feet, allow proposed SAS to be 15 feet and 9 feet from the cellar wall instead of 20 feet required, and allow proposed SAS to be 9 feet from the property line instead of 10 feet required.
I move to ratify the agency's approval and vote on local upgrades and variances 1 through 3 as stated so wonderfully by Pam.
All in favor?
You just second,
Oh, second?
right? Because I moved.
Yeah, second.
All in favor?
Aye. Not used
Cool.
to doing it without Steve.
So now, since you guys live there and you asked about sand, at the bottom of the hill is the private beach.
Right, yeah.
Do you know anybody that is running that private beach organization?
Not anymore.
Why do
Okay.
we need
Oh,
sand?
you know what?
I was kidding.
I did talk to
Oh.
Amy about that.
Forget it, she was kidding, I don't know.
Well,
Right.
only because, the person that used to has since moved.
Right, that's the problem. We've been trying to contact them. There was a failure to pay their fees for the water testing quality that goes on down there. And if they don't pay those fees and renew, Department of Public Health is not gonna allow that to be a public beach anymore.
Yeah,
Oh, really?
Do you know what the
Well,
fee is?
not
Do you
a
remember?
public, a semi-private
Yeah, it's
beach.
private, right?
right. Do you remember what the total was?
No, it's in our records,
Okay.
from a meeting
I
or two
mentioned it,
ago.
I mentioned it to Amy, because I said to her, we're trying to find out who do we approach to take care of these
I've talked to
fees.
neighbors, I've talked to Keith, who lives across the street from the water department, and he can't find anybody and do anything, and, I mean, of all the beach sites, I don't know how often that gets used,
I've never seen anybody down there.
okay, but,
I'm kidding.
I've kayaked
I've
out
never
there.
seen it.
Yeah.
It's a joke, right?
and
No.
so, it's just something that every time I meet somebody from that area,
I
I
never
say,
used it.
hey, tell me if, if I
never
can
used
reach
it.
out.
I just knew who the person was, the president at the time, but they have since moved.
I'm only as good as the people around me and my resources, so if that, I'll grab at straws if I have to, but to get the right answer, I'd love to keep the beach as a semi-public, otherwise, the signs come down, it won't be tested, and
Oh,
it's,
really?
and it's open ground for whoever, whenever, however they want to use it.
Well, maybe
Just to let you
Adrian
know.
might know,
You guys.
Adrian might, yeah.
Adrian might know.
Yeah, if you guys, just put it in the back of your mind. I don't need an answer tonight, but certainly would appreciate any information you could provide me, so.
Sure, but I don't.
Good. And I'll be in touch with you on this whole project every step of the way. I hope you feel comfortable enough to contact me, whenever, and I'll get us there.
We just were just in yesterday.
Yay! Okay. Well, thank you for coming in. I
Reality,
really
reality,
appreciate
this is what we want.
Well, thank you, everybody. It's nice to meet everybody.
Nice
Yeah.
to meet you too.
All right.
Bye.
Have a great day,
Don't
huh?
forget to vote on May 14th.
I know, I know.
For a great board.
All right, moving right along. 620 Montpont, still's out for review.
620 Monpont. How'd you get that far first? Hold on.
I get that, I'm just going
Are we
over.
going back to, we
We already
did skip
did.
a
What
little.
about
We did-
63 Carver?
We had Carver done. How about 63 Carver first? That one's still out for review,
Oh, did I not?
621.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
and that needs to be put on hold. It's not
63
ready
does?
for my approval.
Okay.
John Delano and I have had multiple conversations. He's the design review engineer. And Webby will be redesigning the plan because we had a house and another pole barn next to the other Carver Street one that's being put in. For the house, you can ask for 4 feet of separation from the water table. Pole barn's new construction. So if you tie the two systems together, even though the pole barn has a separate tank, I need 5 feet. So to get 5 feet between the groundwater, they either install a pump or they redesign. The house is being remodeled. They could change the piping in the house and get the elevations they need, so it would be gravity and don't have to worry about, a pump system and get their 5 feet of separation. So I said, send it back to the drawing table, come back with a new plan, and if you can show me both, because on new construction, we can't waiver. Well, we can waiver when it comes to the house. It's, a repair.
Right.
But adding a new structure to it, much like what I just talked about on Carver Street, no.
Okay.
So anyway, that's out, it's in the works, and we'll see where it goes from there.
And then 620 Montpont, same idea, out for
620.
review.
Well, I want to hold that one till the next meeting too.
All right, 31 Buttonwood.
That one's all good, all fine, there's no problems. They filed with Concom, and I checked all the wetland controls, so ratified with my approval.
Can I get a motion to ratify the approval of the health agent for 31 Buttonwood Road?
I move to ratify agent's approval of 31 Button Road.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, 28 Buttonwood Road. Yeah.
Basically, it's the flip side of what we just said about Hillside. It's just a replacement, so we just have to approve that the variance is on setbacks. And it has no room down in Buttonwood, much the same as.
All right, can I get a motion to ratify the agent approval and vote on local upgrades to reduce the 20-foot setback from foundation to SAS to 15 feet, 15.3 actually provided, to reduce the 50-foot system location setback from BVW wetlands. I don't know what the BV stands for. What's BV?
Bob Valerie.
Bob Valerie. The
Not a
44,
vegetated wetland, so it is part of the vegetation.
to 44 feet, and to allow the existing test pit information to be used for the design of the SAS. My only question to that is, how old is the existing test pit information?
It was after 1995.
Okay.
Oh, wait, no, at 28? Because I did 31 too. One had on the plan use prior test pit information, but it was post 1995. And the other one I did the perk test on.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So nothing's pre-95 then?
No.
Okay.
I move to ratify agent's approval and vote on the upgrades and variances as read 1 through 3.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
30 Hillside, we just did.
Yes.
All right, we got raffles. I love raffles.
Can I get the bill for that beach? Can I get whatever's owed?
No,
Why?
because Peggy has it somewhere, and we'll send it to you tomorrow morning.
Okay.
What, do you want me to try to find it, or do you want?
I figured you had it handy. I figured you had it handy. You know everything, where everything
We did like 3
is.
meetings ago, you know?
Speaking of 3 meetings ago,
Yes. Now, should,
we have some children waiting to hear if they've won anything. And we had to keep postponing.
do they want to see some of the swag that you picked up?
We can just pick the winners and I'll write down who gets what on the ticket.
Okay.
So we had a great day. We had lots of kids come through. It was a great event for the beautification committee. And we ended up having helmets donated from Walmart, and Stop and Shop was kind enough to donate sunscreen and bug spray. And we handed out some great little information, and basically it was sun safety, tick prevention, and bicycle safety. So we have 5 baskets total. So we can do the helmet one first, and I'll just write down. All right, so this is for the first helmet basket. Don't get your hands stuck.
That'd be funny. Be the same as the
Gave me
cooking
this
job, man.
Listen,
Yeah, right.
I'm not a professional raffleist.
Okay. Presby.
Yeah.
Fern?
Jean Presby.
Who?
Jean. There's a G. I don't know, but we have a phone number. So this will be for the bike. Pam, you want to pick one for the other bike helmet?
Yep.
Best of luck. Oh, look at her, like a pro.
I have a teeny hand.
Yeah. Oh, Evan
Evan
Littlefield.
Littlefield.
Nice. Okay, I know who that is.
Bob, would you like to pick one?
My hand won't fit.
Candace?
I'm right here.
Kelly?
Oh,
Kelly.
Kelly?
You wanna pick one?
Definitely not now, thank you though.
Oh,
Alright, we
you have to
need
do
3. We need 3 more. So these are for the
3 more, wow.
We had 5 total, so those were for the bike helmets, and then these are for baskets that had like some bubbles and sunscreen and things. So we need 3.
It was so great too, because Kathy Lenatra showed up, and
Yes. Yeah.
our public health nurse
So
was
some
on board, you know, to help with it.
good. So Diane Bradford, little handwriting here, Mason, and then has a phone number, and then the other one is Grace. So
And
these-
congratulations to all our winners.
Yes. So
Yeah.
it's great day. I'm hoping to maybe do something similar, maybe at the fireworks and swimming safety, something.
That's huge right there.
Pending the upcoming election.
We are going, so I am on the Halifax Fireworks Committee now as
Okay.
well.
How are you?
So we are going to be doing a raffle. We are raffling off 2 VIP spots for watching the fireworks.
Nice.
2 VIP parking spots at the COA, Council on Aging. Handmade, beautiful blankets
Okay.
to lay on, and then I've got some like Americana bags that are gonna have
Nice.
bug spray, pinwheels, the glow sticks,
Nice.
and all that sort of stuff.
I had a lot of fun on that committee years ago. That's a fun committee to be on.
Yeah. gonna be a fun event. I think it's gonna be really busy this year. I think there'll be a lot of people.
Yeah, and I'd love to do, just like set up Board of Health water safety table or something.
Okay,
So we can talk more about that
Yeah.
in weeks to come.
okay, that sounds good.
All right, but why are we talking about Braintree, Bob?
Well, there's a town ordinance that was put in place from the town of Braintree for when you have nuisance conditions on houses, whether it be tear downs or whether it be whatever issue that may circumvent legal and fees, time, and effort once a bylaw is put in place. So I provided it for you guys to review, and it would have to go through the select board and stuff because it's not a Board of Health
Okay,
order. It's it's something that town enacted that allows building, Board of Health, and Fire Department to write orders, have them enforceable through liens upon that piece of property and/or owner, as opposed to trying to go to court. So, just something I want you to digest, and after elections or something, it will be a potential thing.
so to be looked at basically to create a bylaw, is that what you're saying?
I would use that as the template
Yep,
and change the name, date, whatever
yep,
to be determined, because I guarantee that was already reviewed by attorneys.
sure.
Our attorneys would still review it. And most of the town bylaws and regulations were all copied from one another.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
yeah,
yeah, you follow the same footprint and then just, make sure that it fits your foot.
right.
So,
And I wonder if this then would go to that bylaw committee.
oh, I'm sure. There's gonna, well, all I figure is if we like it,
Yeah,
we can push it forward.
Okay.
And usually, once we try to push something forward, people will listen. So.
well, I tell you, people are always talking about that house that's on the corner, is Ocean Ave? Is that
That's
the one?
coming up. That's
Okay,
in my
okay.
report,
So
so.
that's what made me think of that.
Okay, so this is for us to review.
This is
and
like
see
an
if we wanna-
appetizer.
Yeah,
Okay. An
Okay.
example of something we could do for Halifax if we wanted to.
right.
Exactly.
Okay.
All right, so the tobacco nicotine hearing notice went out, then the hearing was canceled.
Yep.
All right, so then tobacco nicotine hearing public hearing went out, ad went out.
So, next meeting
Yep,
will be a public hearing
yep,
for a decision or potential decision for the board to decide if we want to increase the annual tobacco nicotine license fee, which is currently $50 per establishment.
What are other surrounding towns? Do you know?
Yes,
Can you tell us?
$50 to $300. There's
Based on
nobody in the 50
population?
range around us. To the best of my knowledge, it's not really based upon population as much as it was each board's determination of how well that would prevent establishments
From some.
from selling tobacco to minors and such. Now, the state has put in significant increases in the fines because the fines were also different throughout the towns. So, when an establishment does violate the tobacco rules and regulations, we have the ability to warn them, fine them, and the fine used to be $50 or $100. Now it's like $1,000 for your first offense. So really, I guess the reason why we'd even consider this would be, do we think it will help deter any establishment or help them stay in compliance? Or is it just a revenue source for the town?
Is there a suggested amount we should go to?
Nope.
So
You said between 50 and 300.
well, that's
is the
kind of a
range.
broad
It
range.
sure is.
You know, how do we decide where we are on that?
I mean, if I was to throw out a number, I wouldn't go in any more than double. I mean, I wouldn't see why.
Right.
So at least at 100, 9 establishments, $50, it throws a little bit in the pot. And then maybe it does, you know, tell the tobacco retailers, well, they're keeping their eye on us.
Do we have any idea what our sting numbers are as of now? Have
So
we-
the sting numbers are totally through me, because otherwise that would cost the town money. You have to pay for that from outside services. So what I do is like hang out in parking lots, try to keep my head down. But on all of our food inspections, we do check for all the proper signage. I also do go inside the building and I check to make sure that there's no flavored tobacco products, no jewels that are above, the 5% limit. So they've all been in full compliance
Okay.
of that. And I have not seen any minors, coming out of there.
So I guess my biggest question is, if everybody's in compliance, everyone's playing ball a nice way, why are we gonna turn around and charge people more money? If it's, now it just becomes to put more money in the kitty. It's not really to deter people from doing anything wrong, because nobody's doing anything wrong now.
Well, it might deter them from selling tobacco, which is really not very good for them.
No, but I don't think, I agree. I, as a former smoker that quit 5 years ago, I very much agree. However, I don't think going up $50 a year is gonna have any one of the local establishments pull tobacco off the shelves. Because tobacco is a gateway into the stores, it's like lottery tickets.
Yeah.
So in the same way, if they're making a lot of money of it, why shouldn't the town get the tax money?
Yeah,
Especially
it's
if
the
we're-
devil's advocate.
Especially if we're lower compared to, I'd be interested to see what surrounding towns charge.
I can give you the DPH has sent out a survey, and they'd asked each town's inputs. And that's why I hate reply to all. Instead of just people sending it to the state, all these towns were hitting reply to all. So excuse me if I was like absolutely killed with how many replies I got. It was upwards of 50. I said, okay, well, I see us on the real low ball end here. I know Marshfield was 300. I think it was like 100 here, 200 there, 150 over there.
And do you remember like the Pembroke, Hanson, like towns that actually
You
by
can just
chance?
pull it up. I mean, it's on all their websites.
All right, and we're gonna vote
just
on this
license
next
fees.
time?
Or is
Right.
the meeting next time?
Then you guys could just pick a number and say yay or nay. I mean,
Okay.
Well,
I won't be here next meeting, so
here's my the next meeting is the actual
hearing.
hearing. I feel like if we're here for a hearing and we're all going to, what do you think works for a number? What do you think here? I think we
Well-
kind of look stupid at that point. I think we should have this figured out.
Well, you could present me with a number independently, okay?
I'd
And
be
then
interested to see surrounding towns.
I'll determine what the number is. You guys check the surrounding towns and say, this is what the agent's recommendation is. And you'll hear from the general public. I mean, you may have some of the
You think
providers
we'll
in
hear?
town
You think we'll hear?
may actually want to say, okay, what's going on?
So I understand that. I just thought it would be better if we had a number before being you know, in front of all these people.
I just feel like I want to have something to compare to before I
Yeah.
just arbitrarily.
Is that something you can send out to us? Is there a particular website that, I don't want 50 emails.
No, I think we just have to go
I'll
to, pull
compile
up a
it
couple
all.
of our own.
If you want,
Philippines or
I'll have
whatever, see
Peggy
what they
or,
charge.
you know, just grab, what, the 5 surrounding towns?
Yes, that would,
Is that good? Bridgewater, East yeah.
Yeah, East Bridgewater, Hanson.
Halifax, or Hanson. Don't let me talk. It's been a long week. It's
Yeah.
only
And then
Wednesday.
at least we'll have a better idea, of,
Clinton.
you know.
Okay, done.
Plimpton for their one store.
Yeah.
No, I think they got 2, don't they? Yeah, 2. All right, Rabies Clinic.
Everything's in place, it's ready to rock and roll on the 21st.
And what is the price for that, Bob, per animal?
Was it 25?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it was 25.
Is the info on our website?
Yes,
Oh, okay.
There's a cleanup day that day too.
yes, beautification committee is doing their cleanup day. And the CERT team actually volunteered to help if there was anything needed with the rabies clinic. We're probably only expecting 20 to 30 shots. That would be double what normally happens, but we'll see what happens.
All right. So, process for opting out of mosquito spraying. So why would we opt out, first of all?
Beats the heck out of me.
Okay, well, what's the process to opt out?
So the state needs to provide the towns the ability to opt out of any kind of aerial spraying only when deemed necessary upon certain areas. When and if they provide a comprehensive plan that they can conduct the same type of service. And so we did this last year. I think Steve was on board and Pam might have been here. Candace wasn't, but to opt out of the program just puts an extra burden upon the town, both financially and writing a whole plan. And quite frankly, mosquito control has things in a good situation. We probably only mess it up.
All right,
Plus,
well,
I heard it's gonna be a really bad year.
so I've got my
Should be.
mosquito guy. All right, so consultants can charge their own individual prices for bottom pole and final inspections, made not available. All right,
So
there should be a cap on that. So you're telling me Joe Schmo can come in and be like, huh, you need a bottom pole, it's Friday and Bob ain't here?
has to be one of our 4 consultants, because they're the only ones who do it for me. And what happens is, in the event that I can't make the bottom hole or a final inspection, it offers them the ability to charge whatever their going rates are for bottom of the holes. And it's the installers who has to pay that fee. So they could say, well, if Bob can't be here today, can I get Joe Schmo, like you said, today, because I don't want to wait till tomorrow. And they'll say, yep, just find out what he wants to charge you. And that should not go back to the homeowner, because it's him who's rushing the process.
Right, not wait until Monday.
Whereas saying, okay, well, maybe you should have called Bob 2 days ago and he can get there, However, there was one appointment, I was gone for whatever, and, he wanted his final then and there, and Bob said, Bob's one of our review engineers, Bob Bucher, and he goes, hey, right, I'll do it for you, for him, because I have a good relationship with the town of Halifax. But let me know, or let you know, I get $100 in every other town. when I have to do this at a moment's notice, so, I just think fair is fair. So-
I just didn't know if anybody could come in and just start charging, big money.
No.
Okay.
Only our four, Webby, Buca, Phil Spath, and John Delano.
Okay. I kind of want to skip over this next one because I'm really interested in the next one down, but we'll let
Okay.
Bob talk about beavers for a little bit.
Oh, yay.
Bob's Beavers.
Well,
I was actually asked questions about this at work today. What happened to the beavers? And I said, I don't know. We'll just leave it at that.
I would say remediation was performed by the Division of Wildlife and Fisheries according to the Mass General laws that are set in place.
Diplomatic, I like it.
Wow.
That would be my official statement on that.
And so how are beavers doing right now, Bob?
Well, let me just give you a snapshot. This took a little bit of time, okay? Primarily because the Brockton Water Commission had alleged that the dam was unoperational. They have now confirmed that it is operational. So, in order to remove the dams, we had to get the Brockton Water Dam working so that it could put out the right flow rates. Not too fast, not too slow. And that's gonna help us in the future because then we can drain west as needed for floods or, whatever. We're not gonna have pooling of waters in that area. Should help remediate some of the cryptosporidium that's been in the ponds. Currently, Brockton's not pulling a lot of water out of east because Silver Lake's so full. So the water levels are at a point where the dam really needed to be fixed. And it's been 7 years that the Water Commission and Board of Health has been trying to get this done. So that got done. Now that's secondary to the beavers because now that the water's flowing, things seem to be a lot better, okay? Again, Division of Fisheries conducted the remediation of the beaver population, and the dam removal, though, required the use of a mini excavator. That's why both myself and Concom need to sign off on the emergency permits, because you can't just bring an excavator in and have it trampling all over the wetlands. You have to, do it correctly. So, I put in for a budget request that wasn't in the initial budget to add an extra $5,000 to the Board of Health. Whether it's this budget or whatever budget. I know how tight the money is in town, but what do I say? Prevention's the best medicine. This money would be kept on hold. It's not like we're gonna spend it, and managed by the Board of Health to provide, I guess, call it cushion almost, to prevent perhaps a future over expenditure of budget. Because during all this, it's, there was no cost to the town while this was going on. In the future, it's either the property owner and or the town is responsible for the cost. Okay? Now, the options for services needed are being considered by me. Because you can hire outside people, or you can there's a lot of different ways to do it. And certainly, I'll give you guys an update on that. So, I don't know exactly how we're gonna develop a remediation technique, or whether there's a lot of options, and that would be a very long conversation, but at least for right now, that puts something on the table as to where the beaver problem was. In this particular instance, thumbs up looks good, and this is just me looking to the future and saying, okay, well, if all of a sudden I have to pull the trigger and, write an order that says those beavers have to go, and it falls upon the town. Currently, the town does not have a plan or money in place that says, okay, where do we get it? So, I'm just not the budget guy, I'm just the one who says, well, sooner or later, this might affect us, might not. Whether it's 5,000, again, that would all go through budgeting and select board, but it was worth throwing it on the table, and I thought, just according to what I heard from outside contractors, trappers, talking $800 to $1,000 a beaver, depending upon the amount of beavers. And then we'll talk in a mini excavator and somebody to run it. So I don't know what the cost would be, and can't predict that, but.
So then none of that had to be done in this situation?
No, because Division of Fisheries and Wildlife runs the Burridge Park area.
It's
So,
on them,
well, that's what they do.
yeah.
Now, we might get lucky
In the
If
future, if it's in the
I
same
need
area.
them and they have the time, resources, whatever available, but we don't know, so. And in this particular instance, we were looking for some cooperation from Hanson,
Right.
of which I never got a sign off from their Board of Health or Concom, but they're the ones who actually brought it to my attention. So I don't know if they have funding or don't have funding, but.
So if we had the same issue in the same area, it would still be covered by the Division of Wildlife and Fisheries?
Exactly.
Okay, so what locations are not covered? Like where would,
Wood Street,
okay,
where there's a dam.
okay,
Down the road over here on, off of front, you take Elm and then take a left and get back onto, 106. Almost passes in front of Steve Haywood's house. What's the name of that street?
oh, okay,
Furnace Street?
yeah,
Furnace.
furnace,
Yep, those are the two that I know of.
okay.
So, so is it the owner or is it town property? Does it back up into septic systems? Does it overclog the drainage areas? So there may also be optional monies from MS4 or something, but that's all to be determined, so to speak. I think that it's not an urgent situation,
Yeah,
but certainly one that
you just want to consider.
I sort of like, staying out in front of a problem instead of being reactive to it,
Yeah, yeah.
especially once I walked in and upon this. I've had some minor things with beavers, but this one was like full-blown and took a
Right.
lot of coordination between multiple departments, and the urgency of it. So, that's beavers, Steve.
Okay.
All right, how about our house just falling down? Should we give it another week to get paper to fall itself, or?
I'm telling you. So,
Can the town be sued if that falls down onto somebody on the road?
have no clue. Potentially, I guess anything's possible. But I can tell you one thing. I've been out there with the fire department, building department, myself, town resident. We all know the thing has to go. Courses you have to take. If it was occupied, Board of Health would step in. As an unoccupied building, building department owns it. That doesn't mean I said, Jim, here's your problem. No, we've all been working together to try to get this done. But between talking to either the owner, Rockland Trust, legal, you can't just like say, okay, I want to go in and knock this thing
No,
down.
this has been
What,
going
is
on
there a lien
for
on it?
quite a while.
Is that
Well-
why Rockland Trust is involved?
Rockland Trust has a small mortgage on it. So, they have committed to giving the town $10,000. Haven't seen the check yet, but
Okay.
which,
For,
knock it down.
okay,
Excuse me. Knock it down and remove it, and then we go from there.
So do we have a start date for this at this point?
Nope.
What are we
don't have a
waiting
check
for
yet,
at this?
right?
Rockland Trust, and again, much like the Beavers, there's no funds in the town for when this happens.
Do we have funds in the town when somebody sues the crap out of the town for negligence?
well, but would it be on Rockland Trust? If Rockland Trust is technically the owner of the house, because they've got the,
I'm not sure that, are they the owner? See, that's where I don't know. That would take legal or something.
I'm guessing the house
She
would fall
owns
to
the
them
house.
or the owner. I
I've never
mean,
done that.
Yeah.
Right, but the owner,
It's pretty,
Well, it
I
sounds
don't
like
know
the
if you've
owner's
ever
defaulted.
driven by it physically.
or
on
not.
Pretty
a
interesting.
small portion of the house value, so.
And it's literally
Yeah.
like falling down into the road.
Nice,
And a car drove through it last year, the year before, there was a big hole in it too.
nice.
Oh, yeah.
It almost looks like it's just some point you just gonna drive by and something go. So I mean, how long can we wait? You know, at what point does somebody have to say, okay, you know, Rockland Trust isn't writing the check? I mean, it's a safety issue.
It is.
I mean, and I feel that we're putting somebody's life up against waiting on a $10,000 check from Rockland Trust.
We can put it in front of the select board tomorrow. We can't order it.
Do you think anyone's walking around that house?
Anybody driving down, you riding your bike past that, you're dumb. You're driving down
I
the
wouldn't
road.
ride my bike by it.
Oh, you drive down the road, that house falls down, you don't think that'll cause an accident?
Well,
That house is gonna land in the street.
You think?
So
well, that's
is it-
why, we did have.
It's only, I mean, what's that, 10 feet off the road? If
No.
that,
No, it's off the road, 20 to 25, because you got the sidewalk.
And I'm assuming
and
it's
stuff.
condemned and there's signs that say keep out, stay away, all
Right.
these things.
Yeah.
But to Steve's point, one, I wouldn't walk by it. We did have a resident who thought the best way to handle this is put up a fence.
Because that's gonna stop it from falling.
Not to me, because it's gonna hit the fence.
Yeah, and just take the fence out too.
And take the fence out.
so what I'm trying to figure out, because, so I was talking to an agent in another town, and this house came up, and this particular agent was saying, just tear it down. We've torn down 3 buildings in our town because of this stuff.
That's why I want the bylaw. You can do it with no complications if you have a bylaw in place.
Yeah, so this particular town must have it, because she made it sound like it was, she was like, we just did one last week, like it was just like normal
Right.
So how do we start the process of this bylaw then?
Well, this
Well,
is
we
the
gotta
one that you
review
gave
this.
us, so we've got to
Okay, so
review that.
Read that and
And we put it before the.
But then
select board.
also, if we do put a bylaw in place, and we're doing it based on the bylaw, is the town then responsible for paying? Like, do we?
if, in the event that the town has to take it down, yes.
Then we just put a lien on the
That's,
property then.
that's the whole thing right there.
Oh, right.
Bang, now you have, okay, well, it cost me 10,000, cost me 20,000, cost me 100,000.
Yeah,
Oh, well, I'm just gonna leave the house for all that amount.
right,
Gave you the chance to do it, you didn't do it.
yeah.
Have a nice day.
See
Right.
what the lien sounds like as far as,
So right now, basically, we're just waiting on a check. And then,
And, yeah, just for Jim to be able to finalize with everybody that, boom, it's, you know, we can take it down, or at least, even if we can't take it down and dispose of it right now, get it knocked down.
yeah, so at
We
least
have to
won't
get rid
fall.
of the oil tank that's there,
Yeah,
and then, which is empty, fortunately.
yeah.
And then,
so what's the time, let's say Rockland Trust wrote out a check tomorrow. What kind of time frame do you think we'd be looking at?
Probably depend on who would do it.
depends on
Is it
if the
highway
town
or-
can do it, they've already put out bids.
Oh, okay,
And, the cheapest bid that we got was 11,500. If the town can just, but that was disposal too.
Right.
If the town has the machinery and the equipment person who can just knock it down, then,
Put it all out back at the school and we'll have a bonfire like we did years ago.
well,
That was
if
good.
they hadn't changed the laws, Jason would have set it on fire from the fire department and let his staff
put
train.
it out,
you know?
oh, right.
That's what they used to do,
Yeah.
you know?
Speaking of that, somebody said that the old BRs is under contract, so maybe that's gonna, I read that somewhere, so maybe that's gonna look a little better.
The old what?
The old BRs, across street from Cumberland Farms, that strip mall.
Oh, okay.
I thought that used to be a bank. No?
What's that? No, it was,
No, Santander's around the corner from it.
that's
It's-
now a
you can barely see
dispensary.
it, right? Because
Yeah.
it's got the bushes and stuff
Oh,
that you don't
yeah,
really
it's all
see it
grown, but
too
used
much,
to be Stadell's Pharmacy, BR's Sub Shop, BR's Restaurant, and then, it was a bakery, and at one point, it was Troy Garen's, spot he rented out when he was running, he used to run for sheriff every year.
Wow.
Wow. I've been in town too many years. So anyways, 163 Plymouth Street.
I'm just gonna read this verbatim off my notes, okay, because, okay, so I closed the case, and the town received $5,000 recovery of fines from Fannie Mae. Currently, the junk, trailer, and occupancy are not in violation of the housing code. May be in violation of other codes, but not us.
Right.
So, I say this case is proof of why we as a board use enforcement by fines as a last resort. When the parties involved are willing to meet with us, we can provide guidance for resolution of a problem and uphold the laws, regulations, and codes. In this case, attorney fees did outweigh the recovery. The determination to settle was based upon the legal counsel advised and how the court may rule would be unknown. So we might not get anything. I recommend the board to consider the town to add a bylaw modeled around the Braintree anti-blight ordinance, which has been provided for your review. The select board would need to approve, as a town bylaw, as it's not specific to just the Board of Health. So it's not us who's going to do this. The proposal allows each agency, building, fire, Board of Health in the town to write corrective orders to enforce compliance. If order conditions are not satisfactorily completed and the town undertakes corrective action, the recovery cost can be leaned on the property and/or owner.
So that's covered in this too?
That's all in there.
Okay.
So, once you guys have a chance to review, I sort of use the 163 as an example of we need to do what's right. We have laws, we have rules, we have regulations. What we did over on 163, the codes that I wrote were well within the laws, rules, and regulations. But at the end of the day, it cost me more money
Yeah.
to, well, not me,
The
sorry.
town.
It cost the town more money than, we really had to. And, we don't use fines often,
Right,
but we did in that instance. And
yeah.
who knows what happens in the future? So, if you can put in preventative measures, do I ever say that in a meeting? I think it would be beneficial. So, I should put that out of the way. Any questions?
Yeah, how's COVID doing?
Well,
It's out there.
yes, it is. Numbers are on a decrease, but it's not gone away. And there's been no hospitalizations or deaths in town.
Very mild illness, but it's out there.
Right.
All over.
But I had an incident at the Winnetoxet preschool. So they know, I know Ruth, and Ruth calls me instantly, and she'd already been in touch with DPH and everything. And so, long story short, there were 2 kids that came down with COVID, same family. What do we do? I said, what did DPH tell you? She said, oh, it's in your court. I said, oh, good. They'll give us recommendations, but you're the one who has to make the final call. I said, okay, not a problem. So, seems to be isolated incident, keep me informed, everything will be good. Follow all the guidance, procedures, things that are in place, let's go from there. Oh, tell you what, I'm even gonna give you test kits. I have plenty of test kits.
That's for sure.
So why don't I give you all these test kits, and then tomorrow, before people come into school, you can tell them to at least pre-test the parents and the child, or else they won't be allowed in. She goes, deal, sounds good. You gotta call the next morning, and it's Ruth saying, well, I've already got some kids dropped off, and my teacher tested positive. I said, okay, now we're dealing with 2 different ballparks, so why don't,
I
you're
come
not
down
gonna
and
be
I'll
able.
replace the teacher for the day.
Well, that's what I said. I said, do you have any backup? I said, it's gonna be near impossible for you to be able to shut down right now.
Right.
I need you to be able to, though, keep the kids 3 to 6 feet apart, have them wear masks, make sure they were all tested before they came in, and I'm gonna close you until Monday. So she's closed today, tomorrow, and Friday,
Yeah.
and I'll allow her to reopen on Monday.
Right.
That's the latest
Because,
guidance, 5 days, and everybody wear a mask, right?
right. So I put all that in place, but I had to pull the trigger. I mean, I just had to err in an abundance of caution, and
What's that?
DPH
Oh,
hadn't
thank
given
you.
any real guidance. Ruth was fully on board. She goes, I'll do whatever you tell me to do, you know? And I said, well, I'm not looking to disrupt your business. I'm not looking to disrupt the lives of everybody else, but I am looking to prevent a potential cluster. I said, I'm far more comfortable knowing if we're closed for another 3 days, you have all the test kits you need. I gave them plenty of test kits.
There's a ton still at the fire department too.
But I know, I have a box out front. Anybody who wants them, I've been putting them out. You can just come in and take them. You don't even have to sign up or give an address. So they will be expiring towards the end of June. Well, like with most things, you'll get a couple weeks past that, but you know, you don't want to push expiration dates too far, unless guided by the places to be. So that's my COVID update. I just wanted to put you on board that, yes, Winnetoxet should be an avoided problem, but.
Right.
So I just noticed we missed a vote under discussion items number 4. The consultants can charge their own individual prices. One, we're actually supposed to vote on that, approving that.
Okay.
Alright, so I'm looking for a motion to allow consultants to charge their own individual prices for bottom hole and final inspections when an agent is not available and installer wants to move forward. Installers will pay the town for the inspection and the town will pay the consultants.
I move to vote on the consultants being able to charge their own individual prices, as read by Steve McFawn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Alright, so we have to affirm bills paid. Hope everybody got a
Yeah, there's
side.
like 8,000 of them, sorry guys.
No, so let's start, so we'll affirm the following bills for week ending March 26th. Robert Valerie, Health Agent, Margaret Seltzer, Administrative Assistant, Kelly Dwyer, Secretary, and Brian Kling, Animal Inspector.
Do we need to do them one at a time?
I would think we could do each one just by the week, correct?
Well, by the
Can we read them all and just say
Maybe.
affirm
Yeah, can we read them all?
yeah,
Alright.
last room.
And then we'll do A through whatever.
Yeah.
B, payroll for the week ending April 9th for Robert Valerie, Health Agent, Margaret Seltzer, Administrative Assistant, Kelly Dwyer, Secretary, and Brian Kling, Animal Inspector. C, for Express Newspaper, Lega Ad 13145-2, insertions of public hearing for nicotine tobacco permit fee increase. Revolving account 25-513, fiscal year 22-15, Webby Engineering for invoice 32332, plan review of 28 Buttonwood Road. John Delano, invoice plan review for 31 Buttonwood Road. Nursing Services account 01-522, fiscal year 22-01, for Mary L. Montrori. Thanks. Invoice 0322 for nursing services for the month of March. iPad gift account 26-514-4830-02- fiscal year 22-06. For FirstNet AT&T Mobile Cell iPad use contract February 12th through March 11th. Payroll, you didn't miss anything, Bob. Payroll for week ending April 23rd, 2022 for Robert Valerie, Health Agent, Margaret Seltzer, Administrative Assistant. Kelly Dwyer, Secretary, and Brian Kling, Animal Inspector. Expense account 01-512- fiscal year -22-16. Robert Valerie, mileage reimbursement, December 2021 for $62.33, January and February 2022 for $82.25, and March 2022 for $115.01. WB Mason invoice 228745342 for desk organizers, push pins, toner, flag arrows, black and color ink, manila folders legal, and a chair mat, huh? Right on, it's just not funny.
Yeah, mine would, sliced my ankle, I almost had to go for stitches. So,
Revolving account 25-513 fiscal year 22-16. Phil Spath invoice 040822-743 for plan review of 49 Carver Street. Bucher and Sons invoice 041922 plan review for 30 Hillside Road. And invoice 040622 for final inspection at 285 Wood Street for Bob Brown. Nursing Services account 01-522 fiscal year 22-02 for Marielle.
Montori.
Thank you. RN invoice number 041222 for nursing services for the month of April 2022.
if I can just tell you too, before you approve them, Laurie did pass her Maven training.
In record time.
In record time. So, if the board votes to approve her paycheck, at least we've got something for services rendered.
There we go.
She's doing a good job, very good job.
She
Sorry to
seems
interrupt.
very involved.
She was at the, she was great at the vendor event. She was there pretty much with me all day.
Nice.
Great.
Yeah.
I move to affirm bills paid as read A through J.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, permits. We're gonna ratify the agent's approval with condition all requirement documents are submitted to the Board of Health office. 574 Monponsa Street, 2022 drilling and irrigation well permit. By Coco LLC, 2022 mobile food permit seasonal at Fieldstone Show Park. Dylan's Local at Halifax Culture Club, 2022 mobile food permit. Loopy's Espresso and Crepe Cart, 2022 mobile food permit seasonal at Fieldstone Show and Park. Connecting Rods Cruise Night, 2022 large outdoor event and food permit. Julie Pemberton, Jules Fried Dough, 2022 mobile food permit single event at Halifax 4th of July event. Nino's Deli and Ice Cream, 2022 ice cream truck. Continental Pools for 2022 pool permit at Halifax Meadows Leiden Lane. Steve Madden, DBA Steve's Bulldozer, 2022 septic installs permit. Steve Theobald of Meridian Construction Incorporated, 2022 septic installs permit. Brian Barry of Atlantic Earthwork, 2022 septic installs permit. Dana Jr., Walkabout Construction, 2022 septic installs permit. Steve Oninen, Primetime Roofing, 2022 septic installers permit. Sounds kind of odd, doesn't it?
Yeah, right, primetime roofing, septic installer.
Yeah. Alright. Brian Kane Construction, 2022 septic installers permit. Andrews Brother Construction, Gordon Andrews, 2022 soil evaluators permit. Kyle Devonish of Outback Engineering for 2022 soil evaluators permit. Jason Euquist of Outback Engineering, 2022 soil evaluators permit. Robert Dewar of Braken Engineering of 2022 soil evaluators permit. Daniel Jr. of Walkabout Construction, 2022 soil evaluators permit. Derek Simmons of Earl F. Simmons Company Incorporated, 2022 Title V inspectors permit. Dana Jr. Walkabout Construction, 2022 Title V inspectors permit.
I move to ratify agent's approval of permits as read 1 through 21.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Did you count them or did you know you know when we Roman numerals?
I don't know. You don't?
Only up to
Look
10.
at
I know a B is a
Only
5.
10.
So you get 2 X's and then a 1.
Very impressive. Very impressive.
I'm older than you. They taught me this stuff in school. They probably stopped doing that.
Alright. I would like to make a motion to close the meeting at 8 o'clock.
I move to close the meeting at 8 o'clock.
All in favor?
Aye.